Bashers Wednesday, whatever Wednesdays. What's up, gang of mine? It's whatever Wednesdays, so I have nothing to say until you say it, and then we expound upon that. That's what Wednesday is all about. It's all about you and what I think. And the first up is Samlet Consulting. Bashers, Dirk time. Hey, cats and jammers. Dean, hello, Dirk. Hello, Dean. Great to see you in the room on Wednesday. I almost moved it to 6, only because, I still have a contingency of people that are saying that 6 is better. But then I've got a whole bunch of people that say, please don't do that. So, in the chats, tell me whether or not you want one of the days or 2 of the days. Just let me know. Because I want to do what you want to do. I can do it whenever you want. What is going on in here? I had one of those chocolates. When you have a beard, everything gets caught in it, and it's kind of gross. The beard will go as soon as the weather gets. It's so chilly in New York. It's just cold. It was really sunny today. I ran some errands, but it was freezing. Maybe that's just because I'm getting old. It could very well be. I don't know. I hate it. Space Ace, good evening. The beautiful Michaela de Chatillon, my partner in crime for Monday night's Watch Fashion Police. She's beautiful. She's talented. And man, she's got a mouth. And that's why we love her. Shane McGee. Good evening, all. Good evening, Shane. Heavy Driver. That sounds like a Kiss song from the 70s. Go, Heavy Driver. Keep driving on down the road. Dirk, hello from London. He's calling in from Blois. My niece, Shay, lives in London town, and she loves it. She's been there for like 2 years. I don't know where time goes. She is studying. She took the test. I don't even know what the results yet. I guess it takes a while to be a barrister. Isn't that cunty? Michaela says, do what you want. That's what we want. I know you are, but what am I? Thank God I'm not in one of those relationships. I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? I mean, I do all the cooking, so I have to come up with menus all the time. But sometimes I say, what would you like? And sometimes you're just in the mood for something. The only time I really order, who orders food? Like where I live in Manhattan adjacent, as it were, or Hong Kong adjacent as it's becoming. Everybody orders. These guys on bicycles and scooters are fucking. They will run you down. And it's a horror show. And they order a lot of food. It's terrible. I probably didn't want to tell you this, but I might as well tell you what happened this morning. At like 6:40 in the morning, I heard something outside, and I looked out my window, and one of the neighborhood cats got hit. And that breaks my heart. And, I scurried and got my pants on. I went down, and he was gone. He got hit pretty bad. We have a lot of stray cats in the neighborhood, and my neighbor Rose took care of them forever. And now our new neighbor takes care of them because Rose is a little too old to take care of them. She's got one that she takes care of, and they just race down my street because there's a bridge to Brooklyn, and then they hang this left-hand turn, and then they bolt up to the light up on the street on my corner to get to the main thoroughfare, and they must be going 70, 80 miles an hour on my street. And I've tried to get speed bumps. I have petitioned the courts. I've petitioned all my local congressmen and all local government, and they all keep flatly refusing me. And I've taken pictures. I didn't do it this morning because it was too early, and I was just too numb through the whole thing. So I went outside, put some gloves on. He was one of the strays that my neighbor feeds. And while I don't have a personal relationship with that animal, it was just very tragic. And yeah, so it's a horrible thing. Sorry to start the show out with a bummer, but I'm really down on this town. I mean, it's been my home for 35 years, but I'm really down with it. down on it, I should say. Anyway, Sam Le Consulting says, I'm on my lunch between 2 and 3 Pacific, so that works, Brohim. Okay. Well, that works now, 5 to 6. Okay. All right. Well, I like this time. I think it's good. I got my little cat nap in. And when I say cat nap, I mean a real cat nap because I take a cat nap because she's asleep. And I'm like, yeah, look so cute. And that's it. And I'm out. Billy G says, good evening, folks. And the first super chat of the evening is the incomparable, ladies and gentlemen, Nathaniel Hannon. $1.99. I hung out with flamingos today. Wow. I mean, is that a euphemism? I'm not quite sure what that means, but like real flamingos? Oh, right. Well, you're you're below the Mason-Dixon where flamingos might be. You're in a state. I'm not going to tell people where you are, but you are in a state where flamingos might congregate. I've only ever seen real flamingos in person once, and that was 1991. We all went to Disney World, and actually we stayed at the Grand Floridian. So my friend at the time had come into a bucket of lawsuit money, and he was like, "You guys have taken such good care of us. I'm taking you all to Disney World." So he did. And we stayed at like the fanciest. We actually checked into a lesser Disney property, and he was like, "Oh no, this won't do." So they put us up at the Grand Floridian, which is kind of the creme de la creme or it was. I don't know. It's been 30 years. It feels like yesterday. And there was like flamingos all over the place, and there was also like an area where there was water. It was cool because the monorail came right up to the hotel, take you right to Cinderella's castle, that area. But I remember there was a sign that said "Beware of alligators." And a couple of years ago, some kid got just taken by an alligator. That is fucked. Dean says, Dirk, good day for me today. We got an AD call. Dirk, good day for me today. Got the call from my local AD. Got the Rolex Starbucks. Waited 2 years, 11 months, 3 minutes, and 30 seconds. Because watch aficionados do that. You count the days, the years, the months, the minutes, and the seconds. Well, congratulations. I can't wait. Did you get it? Do you have it? Did you take a picture of it? Did you send it to me? Did you, Dean? I'm looking in my email, in the new Gmail thing, which I'm still trying to work out. If any of you guys know, because listen, I can walk and chew gum, but there's a couple things I can't do. And one of the things is I found this blur program. I'm not showing anybody's emails. I've gotten a couple of messages from people, and I'll be honest with you and upfront. I don't have anyone's emails being shown, but people's names are on there. And if that's offensive to you, I get it. And I'll do my best to make sure that doesn't happen. But I'm trying to find a blur program that works really well. I use Macintosh, and I found a couple. But what happens is when I blur out the names, which it looks great, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Then I go to click on the photographs. It just doesn't do anything. It renders them useless. So if anybody knows, hit me up in my email. That is basherdirk@gmail.com. Thanks so much for that. And congratulations, Dean. I cannot wait. Send me a wrist shot so we can all have a party. Let's have a Dean party, a Starbucks party. That's going to be a beautiful watch on you because I know what your wrist looks like and it's going to be perfect. Cannot wait. Carlos Paggi, greetings from Banbury. Greetings to you, my friend. Melly C says, good day, Dirk. Are you from down under? Are you? Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Andrew Volkowicz, who obviously just got back from work. Upvote and subscribe. Also eat cake and enjoy living. Yes, I went to Trader Joe's today and I got this, I don't know, it looked like a Valentine's cake, but it just said, get this cake and enjoy it with your sweetie. But it looked good and it was like $5. Anybody have Trader Joe's near them or like Trader Joe's? What they have is great. What they don't have is depressing, but they do have great stuff. I like to go in there like early in the morning when nobody's in there because it's great. I didn't give you the chime, did I? Here it is for Andrew. A nice little tap. Thank you, Andrew. You are a champion of this channel. I can't tell you how much we're so perilously close to 2,000 subscribers. Like it's going to take like maybe 15 minutes. We could get there during this broadcast, and that would be fantastic. Yeah. Back to Sam Le Consulting. Geminis make decisions. We always change our mind. What works for you, brother? I know, and I'm a left-handed Gemini, wearing the Rolex Milgauss because yesterday was Speedy Tuesday. And where's my Speedy today? Oh, I left it in the other room. I'm usually pretty good at putting them back on their rolls in their boxes, but it's funny, like I've been wearing the Speedy a lot last couple of days, and because she fits like a glove. And actually, I noticed one thing today, that she sits a little bit, a little bit, crooked. And I was like, you know what? And I've never tampered with it at all. I just think that I need to take one link out of the bottom and add one to the top. So I just think it needs to be one link over, so it sits flatter. It sits more center, like this does perfectly. And it's funny because this fits me so, like a glove, but I just put it on, so now it's like a little loosey goosey, and I gotta actually just check to see if the easy link is not. You know what? It might not have been. The easy link might not have been engaged. Engage. Here's a funny story about you guys know how much I love Star Trek, and especially Star Trek Voyager with Kate Mulgrew, who's one of my. She's like my Kate Bush and her are my two favorite ladies, famous ladies. So she wasn't the original captain. It was Geneviève Bujold, who's a Canadian thespian, and she quit the first day. It was between her and Kate Mulgrew, and they went with Geneviève Bujold because she was an Oscar nominee. They thought she was a big name. They went with her. She didn't like the hours. She didn't understand episodic television. And if you're a fan, you can go on YouTube and you can actually see the first day of shooting, because they filmed most of the first episode. There's like 4 scenes that they have, and they're the pilot. They're the very first thing when they, the caretaker and all that stuff, and they get thrown 75,000 light years away. And she doesn't say engage. Kate Mulgrew goes, engage, with a raspy Kate Mulgrew voice. She goes, engage, because she's French. She's Quebecois. Hilarious. 209 says, I like cats. I like cats too, and I'm very sad about that cat this morning. He was a big bruiser of a gray, fluffy guy, and I had to break the news to the girl. She's one of the other holdouts in my building against the evil dragon lady, and I had to tell her this morning. And, that's never fun to do. Yeah. Scotty H, the incomparable Scotty H. I like 5 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock where I am. Okay. Oh, so you are mountain time. Scotty H. Nathaniel says real flamingos. I believe it. I believe it indeed. Yeah. The Flamingos did that song, I Only Have Eyes. Oh, was that? I only have eyes for you. Is that the Flamingos? Wow. That's a piece of trivia I didn't know. I know the song, but I didn't know it was the Flamingos. Thank you so much for the edification. I appreciate it. Space Ace. I get my ASMR from Crunchy Cat on YouTube. Total cute feline. I'm going to tell you a secret, and I think it's going to be pretty funny. So Asheen and I were talking, I don't know, this is probably 2 years ago. His channel was doing well, and he's like, he's been trying to get me, you need a channel. I'm like, well, I don't know. People won't like me. He's like, you're a raconteur, blah, blah, blah. And then I stumbled upon this ASMR stuff, and I said, I have a funny idea. And I said, it's creepy because to me, ASMR is like a fetish. It's some kind of weird, I don't look at it as like some kind of meditation thing. It's not meditative. It just looks pervy to me. So I made a fake name. I won't say what it was. I took it down. It's not live anymore. But it was a colossal failure. And, being kind of a jokester, what I did was I was like, bearded guy eats Cheetos. So I had a bag of Cheetos, and like my beard was like huge. It was big. It's like probably like 3 inches. It was a big, ridiculous beard. And I just ate like the personal size. I ate an entire bag of crunchy Cheetos and got like the cheese all over my face. And I was like, "Oh, hopefully I'll strike pay dirt and all the creepy bear pervs will be all over this." And nobody watched it. But, hey, it was funny. Sam Lair Consulting. Dirk, what are your thoughts on Breitling buying Universal Genève? Do you think that they can pull it off? Breitling is what Omega is to you. Oh, Breitling for you is what Omega is to me. Listen, you know, dear Sam Lair Consulting, I am a Breitling fanboy. And that's happened within the last 2 years. I just look at the horology and I look at the dials and I think that they're such a beautiful brand and they're just, you know, middling around. This is a power move. I think even though, only watch nerds know what Universal Geneva is, I think it's a cool thing because the both brands are going to be able to, steal from one another and share technologies and come up with some cool things. It can only help. Lest we forget, Omega was a dead brand after the quartz crisis. Omega was a bigger brand of watch than Rolex, believe it or not. It was a bigger brand. It was the bigger brand, even though Rolex doesn't pay taxes, and because Rolex didn't futz around with quartz. They had oyster quartz, but like everybody was making all their watches in quartz, and Omega and Rolex wasn't doing it. So quartz crisis killed Omega. They were dead. They were going to go out of business. And if it wasn't for Swatch Group coming in and saving them, there'd be nothing. There'd be no Speedy Tuesday. There'd be no Speedy Tuesday. There'd be no Snoopy. There'd be none of that. It wouldn't amazing. James Bond, what would he be wearing right now? I guess he'd be wearing a Submariner, right? He would definitely be wearing Rolex. Though I think it would be cool if he wore like JLC or, Vacheron Constantin. Vacheron Constantin. It would be cool. But it's crazy. My thoughts are Bravo. I don't know if it's a Hail Mary. I don't know what kind of financial shape they're in, but I'll be honest with you. The only person I see wearing Breitling is Jerry Seinfeld. Who the fuck is wearing Breitling? I don't know. JBB says 5 pink flamingos were seen hanging out at the beach in Lake Michigan in Wisconsin this year. Apparently, were blown, of course, by a hurricane. How about this LA stuff? You all know the famous Mimi, who is my oldest girlfriend in the whole wide world. The atmospheric rivers. Had you ever heard of an atmospheric river? I had to look it up. I didn't know what it was. And I love all that stuff, meteorological stuff. I didn't know. I guess they got to come up. Bomb cyclone. Remember that when that was new? It's when these clouds are so dense and there's so much water in there that they're carrying a river's worth of water, and then it gets dumped in one fell swoop, and then disaster strikes. And that, kids, is global warming. And if you don't believe that's true, I got a bridge to sell you. Dean is no, picking it up this Saturday. Okay, well, next Tuesday, hopefully, picking up this Saturday with a bottle of Redbreast 21. You guys are old Redbreast fellas. For those of you not in the know, that's a premium whiskey that all the guys seem to like. It's kind of I'm going to say it's kind of like if you were to equate Redbreast to watch. So Rolex would be Macallan, right? And then you'd have all the Isla brands would be, like Vacheron Constantin, Patek Philippe, all the single malt, all those peaty ones, the ones that smell like peat fire. Now, spending all my childhood in Ireland, I remember the smell of peat permeated the world because all of my granny's house, my great granny's house, everybody's houses, it was all run on peat fire, and they'd go down to the bog. And now you can just go to the shops and you can buy it, get some turf, and but I love the smell of it. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I think Redbreast is probably like, is it the Tudor of whiskey? Like, it's great, but it just doesn't get the acclaim that it wants. I don't know. I'm not a whiskey drinker. I'm just saying from brand perception. I don't like no liquor. I just like wine. I've never met a liquor I liked. Just never been my thing. Yeah. Andrew says, I heard that flamingos all fly to Africa and hang out in a lake that has such a high acid content that predators stay away. That would be cool if there's such a thing. I don't know if that's true, but I like the sound of it. And you're a smarty. Topster, everybody's right of center, far right of center, political pundit, and my personal favorite. Can't you just download the pictures and then open the pictures? Yeah, I could absolutely do that. However, think of it. That means that I have to open every picture and then I have to label them. So that's like, I don't know. It's a lot of work because I don't, if I open it, I don't know who sent it unless I do it one by one and then name all the pictures and keep them in a folder. I mean, if I have to do that, I'll do it. Anything for the channel, but it's just like, there's got to be a better way than that. Because listen, I consulted with Ush. I called Tim Wright because who knows more than Timmy? Timmy's online. I texted him like at like 8 o'clock this morning. I said, hey, Tim, I hope I'm not disturbing, but whenever you wake up or you've had your coffee, and he was up, he's like right back at me. I'm like, do you ever sleep? Does Tim Wright ever sleep? That guy, the truth teller, the soothsayer, that guy is always online and he was awake. So I asked everybody about that. I asked all my conoscenti, my consiglieris, consiglieri, no, I is plural, no S, of course. Consigliere would be the one. So yeah, I could do that, but it's just like I really wish there was a better way. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to look at the name and then I'm going to open it and then I'm going to share the screen. That'll probably take about an extra 4 seconds, and I'll just have to get used to the mechanical roteness of it, muscle memory. But like for example, I'll show you right now. If I do this, and then I go like this. This is from Steve McDonald's. Look at this beautiful watch. He's wearing a Zin, and he said, we saw this last night. He's very freckly, isn't he? McDonald. I'm not a freckly guy. I'm a pretty hirsute guy for an Irishman. I have some freckles here. My sister's very freckly. My brother's very freckly. Even my older sister, Pat, who I just found out watches the show because she sent me pictures of her cat, Felix, and her other brood. Listen, my family, so that works, right? I'll do it that way. That'll work for us. So my family are a big, big animal aficionados, and my sister, lives in a place where there's a lot of stray cats, and her and my brother, he's constantly bringing in cats, and my sister's the one that has to feed them all, and she's got like 16 cats in her house. A couple steal your heart, and I know Felix has certainly stolen my sister's heart. I wanted him so bad too. I was like, I think I love him, and she's like, no, he's mine. I was like, I haven't gotten another cat because Laverne is the queen, and she lived with 2 other cats, and not that she cared, but Murray, my beautiful fat boy, he just didn't love her because he had just become the king of the house. Because the king of my house his name was Glaucus, named after a character. If anybody knows, you guys are so smart. That's a great trivia question. This cat, his name was Glaucus. We found him when he was a little tiny kitten. I found him in a snowstorm, and he was named after a character in a movie that you never saw. You never saw the character. You only heard him spoken of. Let's see if you know in the chats what his name was. So I found out my sister Pat watches the show just because she sent me pictures in the new Gmail. Sam Le Consultant. I don't know what that means. Country. Wallace 9. Hey, Dirk. Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Would you recommend either of these shows? Could not remember which shows you didn't like. Yes, I can. Oh, listen, I would love to. I haven't finished Picard. I watched the first season and I disliked it. And I didn't dislike it because it was bad. I disliked it because I was like, it's like watching Joni Mitchell on stage at the Grammys. I love Joni Mitchell. She's incredible, but I don't think it's fair to put her up there in that condition. I think it's ruining her legacy to see her in that shape, to barely be able to sing both sides now. I'm not a fan of that. And I think he's too old. He looks really old and fragile, and I love him. I mean, Patrick Stewart is a legend on the grass. He's a legend. But I think he's too old. I think Strange New Worlds is the best new Star Trek since Enterprise. I've hated everything since, especially Discovery, which is garbage. It's like United Colors of Benetton bullshit. What's that girl's name? She's not even the captain. She's the captain now. Big deal. Don't like her. Sam Led Consulting says, congratulations, Dino. Yes, congratulations to you. Dean with the £4.99 super sticker. Thank you for that. And congratulations, Dean. We cannot wait to see that adorning your wrist. 2 years with 11 months, 3 days, and 11 seconds. Is that what it was? Congratulations, man. That's a hard watch to get. People saying that they're easier to get now. I don't know how true that is, but if you had to wait that long, I don't know what your spend history is, all that stuff. I don't know. There's a couple of watches out there that you can get. They're not that hard. JBB says your watch is a she. Yeah, she's, yeah. All my guitars are girls. Yeah. Things you aren't your cars girls. Yeah. I don't know. What is it? Chitarra in Italian. It's feminine. I just think, yeah, watches are orologio. That's masculine because this is a watch in Italian is orologio. Yeah, no, I just assign female gender. I don't know. Don't you? Doesn't everybody do that? She's great. The ship. She's a great ship. We sailed on her. The queen of the skies, the 747 is the queen of the skies, not the king of the skies. This is how it goes. Is that sexist? Is that PC? Is that, I don't know. Are we all going to get canceled? They is a great watch. They Rolex. I sound like a rapper. Well, they got their Rolex. That always kills me, right? Well, they ought to know what they be doing. They got their Rolex. It's funny. I grew up in Jamaica, so I heard that all the time. It was hilarious. Yeah. So let's see. What else do we got? Tobster said he started Strange New Worlds. It's okay. A bunch wrong with it, though. I know you didn't like the whole that he's a chef thing, right? This is kind of like, Jonathan Archer's polo playing and the dog who can't eat cheese. And, it's very Gene Roddenberry, though. That is very Gene characterizations of Gene Roddenberry is very that. So I like it. Tobster also says super dark sets all look like some fancy WeHo happening new club. Captain's quarters is a giant massive penthouse suite at a standard with the chef's kitchen. Yeah, I know it's true, but that's what all the new stuff is. They can't. That's why Enterprise is so great. It's all nuts and bolts. It's all like, it's just so crap. They have like CRT screens, but they do have iPads. They say put that on a pad. This is well in 20 years or 15 years before iPad. Archer says to Paul, he goes, do me a favor, put that on a pad for me. All things Star Trek eventually become tech that we actually use, and that's very, very, very cool. Yeah, I mean, this is TV. It's like Friends apartment, the girls' apartment on Friends with the artist garret and window. And, have you ever seen a house on a TV show that any real person other than Archie Bunker would live in? No, they're all these ornate, ridiculous lofts with barn doors, and it's stupid. It's just TV. That's just the way it is. Yeah. Boston Collector, good evening. Good evening, Dirk. I've been up to my eyeballs in Project. Well, so happy to see you back. Send us some pics because you got some great stuff. Share with the world. Share your wrists. Why don't you? It's great. Happy to see you, Boston Collector. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Kate Mulgrew was my girl crush back in the Ryan's Hope days. Yeah, she's great. Ryan's Hope is a fantastic show. That's where she got knocked up and had a baby in real life and gave it away. We're like the production guy on the set. A lot of drama. And then she gave it to Catholic Charities, and they wouldn't let her know when she wanted to find out who. I read her book. Read her book. It's called Born with Teeth. It's a great book. If you guys want to read about a cool chick, she's so smart. She's so interesting. She drinks a shitload of whiskey. She smokes like a fiend. She's a very cool dame. She's a cool broad. I like her a lot. Sam the Consulting. He's talking to Deal. My Grail is a 46 millimeter Breitling Navitimer with the blue face. Oh, the BO1. Well, yes, beautiful watches, but nobody cares. So Breitling's got to make some kind of a PR move. I've said this 1,000 times. I was trying. This is like 2 months ago, where I was coming up with ideas who could be their brand ambassador. Because Roger Federer with Rolex, couldn't get classier than that. Can it? you've got George Clooney for Speedmaster and Daniel Craig with everything else. Daniel Craig had that white face Speedy on, white dial Speedy at that event. And now everybody wants a thing. It's like, I'm calling it, ready. It's called the Unsnoopy because it looks like a Snoopy, but it's not. There's no Snoopy on it, but it looks like one. So I'm calling it. So everybody gets their day in the sun with the John Mayer. I'm calling it the Unsnoopy. Boom. Wallace 9, very sad. Yeah, about the cat. It was a terrible thing. Terrible thing. Hey, Boston Collector says, hey, Carolyn. You guys know each other, right? All you guys know each other. All you watch folks. Rufus has been looking for his strays. You haven't seen that? I hate when that happens. It's a terrible thing. Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Jim Lassick. Sorry to be late dealing with government agencies. Well, pour yourself one right now. And I know you've got quite the collection, Mr. I'll share this. I'm not gonna. I'll share both pictures, but man, he sent me a story. I'm not gonna. This is a personal thing. He sent me an email, and I read it just before the show. And he's a very interesting cat. We were talking about fancy wine because we both have, but he's got a better budget for wine than I do because I pull my resources together with Sheen and his brother and Dana and Paul. And then we get fancy bottles, but he collects some crazy stuff. And he sent me like his first time with the fancy wine. It was all about a leaky cork. I heard a funny joke today. I was watching a documentary on Mae West, and because she was great, she's very funny. For those of you who are too young, but I think most of you aren't, she was, this famous bawdy writer, director, actress, singer, and a real broad, the ultimate broad. And she had to work with W.C. Fields, who was a drunk, and they had a fight, and he goes, somebody stole the cork from my lunch. Man, I thought that was really funny. Really funny. Angelo Minicello, Canadian $10 super sticker. Thank you, Angelo. How are you today? Everything good? It's whatever Wednesdays. You guys pick the topics, and then I'll just roll with it. Because I don't pick up topics on Wednesday. I just let you guys dictate what you want to talk about. I think it's way more fun. James Bond would be interesting wearing something in the Holy Trinity. Well, sure. I mean, but... Okay, so what is he going to wear? Like overseas? I mean, 5711. What's he going to wear? Because it has to be somewhat sporty because he's going to be diving or in outer space or in some nuclear silo or something like that. Maybe they would create a new watch for him. And I know you all know who the Trinity is, but for those of you who might not, because I have some non-watch people who watch the show, it's Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and Vacheron. So yeah, I mean, sure, I mean, that could happen if Omega was stupid enough to lose their partnership. Let's all face the truth. Ian Fleming wrote The Submariner into the very first James Bond book, Casino Royale. He is not wearing Omega. He's wearing Rolex. So those first couple of movies, he didn't wear Omega until he wore Seiko. He wore Seiko during the Roger Moore era. It was the Sub. Then he wore a Pulsar. I mean, James Bond wore crazy shit. There was no Omega until Pierce Brosnan. So, Omega's had it for quite a long time, but, they could lose it. They could totally lose it. They don't have Daniel Craig now, who's a big watch aficionado. And listen, I don't like we might have discussed this earlier or at another time or on another show, maybe Watch Fashion Police. I think it was that. But I said people need to remember that the character of James Bond is the one who has the Omega endorsement. Daniel Craig does not. Daniel Craig can wear whatever he wants. And you know what he wears? Milgauss. Seen that he wears it a lot. And he's got the black dial and he's got the blue dial. He's got the Z blue as well. So I think I might have seen him wearing the white dial. I think he loves Milgauss so much that he's got all three. If I had my druthers, I'd have all three too. I feel bad for the original one. They all have the same serial number, so it doesn't make a difference to say the difference. It's the black one without the green sapphire crystal, and it's it's the most boring one. It's the one that sells the cheapest, so it's very easy to get. I think so. Uh, yeah. Boston Collector at Dirk. I put my Snoopy on the new brush. Oh, Jesus. Boston Collector, can you send a picture of that? Oh my God. I just had like a little mini stroke. Ooh. The Snoopy on the 3861 bracelet would look crazy. Yeah, because Omega. Listen, as much as I'm an Omega nerdophiliac, they often get the bracelet wrong. They just do, because it's not an oyster bracelet, which is, let's face it, that's the best bracelet in the world. I mean, it really is. It's the bracelet by which all bracelets are judged. I do love the flat link bracelets too. You know, those are my favorites, the flat link Omega bracelets. But they've made several over the years. Um, and I just think that they just never seem to really get their act together with the bracelets. And I don't know what it is, but that bracelet's really beautiful. They've been running around with the 1498, and I hate that. I hate that fucking bracelet. I think it's the ugliest thing they ever did, and that's been in circulation so fucking long. And I don't know why they've kept it. I love the Oshin's got the 1450 on his 861. My Speedy has the 1479. And then, the 1498 came out and just like kind of just owns the shebang for the longest time. And then the 1998 came out. And but Oshin's got the 808 Endling. So he's got the Grail. He's got the Grail. So he's got the 1450 with 808s, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Love it. How could James Bond of Ford and Omega on a silver? Well, how does he drink Bollinger? So he's drinking like Bollinger RD. Come on. How does he get, private planes and spaceships? And he works for, MI6. Ray, that is correct, Andrew. I concur on the flamingos. Okay, you guys are. I'm guess I'm a little late. I'm behind. I missed a bunch, so I'm gonna go hit it right now. I'm gonna get to this. JBB with $10. Thank you so much, JBB, for that. And Tom, you say tomato and I say tomato. I sang that last night, right? 99 cents. Hey, the 99-cent beauty show. You know what? You can get a lot for that. Drop a link for Boston Collector. Oh, Boston Collector, do you not know what my email address is now? It is. Yeah, I changed it. BasherDirk@gmail.com. That is where you find me. 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 Yeah, we'd love to see that. That would be an absolutely beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. So yeah, what's going on in your world right now? I mean, we'll end the show with wrist shots, and I'll do my best to keep things as inconspicuous as possible. But it's hard. It's like I'm trying to find this blur thing on. I mean, I'll get something eventually, but blah blah blah. It's hard. Tim knows everything. Tim will no, I was on the phone with Tim for 45 minutes this morning, and he said, you should just download them into a folder. And I was like, oh God, I'm a total nerd. I'll find a way. Believe me, I'll find a way to do it. It's annoying. Oh my God, what is this? Aaron O'Matt. Liebe Gruß und Wien. Off to bed now, but we'll watch over breakfast. Live. I know he lives in Vienna, so I guess that means live Liebe, right? Gruß. What does that mean? I don't know what it means. I'm just guessing. My German is really shitty. It's funny because I was signed to a German record label for a long time, and everybody spoke English and no one would speak German. I thought, oh wow, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna learn German. Satellite Consulting. JBB Bond knows a guy. He buys Omegas from Nico. Dirk never met a liquor he liked. I used to know a few ladies that love to. Really? That's for Friday night. That's like the old joke. I'm starting a new bar. It's gonna poker up front, liquor in the back. But I'm bummed. It's nasty. Uh, Dave 4 F451. Don't feel bad about the SMR experience. I think that is why I never thought about being gay. I don't think I could bear being turned down by the other half of the population. You know, guys are less selective because guys are just pigs. You know, God, you are one. You know who they are? They're you. That's what people have to remember. They're you. So it's like, 99.9% of men are slutty like you. Men generally don't turn down a sure thing. They just don't. I've been behind the stick working the bar for so long. And yeah, I mean, but look at, I mean, not to sound gross. And now that I know my big sister watches the show, I don't want to say anything so perverse that she's like, what? How does he know that? Why do you know that? Well, I knew this girl, and I've said this before. I knew this girl in my old job, and she, before the pandemic happened, she had started her own OnlyFans channel. And, she was a big girl. She was a big bone girl from Southern Alberta. Just couldn't call her small. Anyway, she's a big girl, and she started a channel, and now she lives in Monaco because she makes a ton of money. With herself on this channel, for lack of a better word. Because I don't want to be. This is Wednesdays. This is Dirk Weekdays, and I don't let it get too crazy. But you know what? And then another friend of mine told me, he's like, all the guys are on there, and do they think the girls are watching them? No, gay dudes are watching them, and they're paying the money. You think super chats are cool? You wouldn't believe what they do on that crazy shit. I don't know what it's called, and I don't want to know. That's just, I'm too old for that shit. It's like Tinder. Thank God. I've been shacked up for 30 plus years because I don't want anything to do with it. I just want to know what we're having for dinner, and like, is there a nice, like, I'm picking out a nice wine. Oh, this is a good one, Mr. Badgas, the White Speedy, the Snoop Dogg. That's pretty good. What's going on with Snoop Dogg? Wasn't there some kind of scandal? I don't know. Everybody had a lot of fun over me ripping Meghan Markle apart last night. I got a lot of emails about that. I hate her. I think she's a total skank box. I don't like her. I think he's a big fucking pussy and a crybaby, and grow the fuck up. You know what we all do? We're all scrounging for pennies on the street. We're all busting our asses, you privileged little cunt. And you are spare. All these whiny rich people. You know what? Fuck off. You know what? The richest person I know, the person I know who has the most wealth, is a guy from Brooklyn. And he worked his ass off his entire life. He got nothing handed to him. And he stays at the Hassler, and he drives a Bentley, and he has all the shit. But he looks at it all as just stuff he's lucky to have, that he acquired through hard work. He's not a privileged little cunt like Harry is. My brother's going to be king, and I'm just me. Fuck you. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, Le Carre says AP Royal Oak Diver would be the only one rugged. No, I think the Overseas would be rugged enough, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be good? I don't know. That's a big thing. Why don't we do a poll? I'm gonna ask Timmy how to do polls because he does like polls with graphics. There's like plugins for. We use StreamYard, and I think the other platform has more bells and whistles in it, but I don't know. Sean Connery wore a no date sub in Dr. No. That's the one. That's the one that Emmett O'Malley now proudly wears. And it's my favorite of the Submariner varietals as well. I don't like I'm not a big fan of it. The date. I don't like it. I just think it's cuckoo looking. Dirk, see the latest Beato. I haven't watched the Michael O. Martin one. Amazing. I keep seeing Beato in airports. I'm lobbying hard for him to. Alex Lifeson will certainly sit down with Rick Beato. Have you sent? Oh, I'll send an email to him too, because no one makes me happier on the planet Earth than Alex Lifeson. Lurkst. He's my favorite person. He's my favorite human. I want to just hug him. I met him when I was a kid, because me and my friends used to chase down our favorite rock bands, and we'd always see them. And they used to stay at a place called the Berkshire Place Hotel. It's where they also used to put up all the guests from Saturday Night Live. And I met them. I met all three of them many times, but I was a kid. I was 14, 15, and it didn't matter. But over the years, I've developed such a man crush on Alex Lifeson. He's so funny. He's what an inventive, incredible player. I love him with all my heart. And I just think he's a beautiful soul. And it's like, I ever met him, I'd be like, can I hug you? And he'd probably like, security. Scotty H with the $10. Thank you so much for that. If the Bashies pitched in, you got a G-Shock square, would you wear it at least once? A G-Shock? Yeah, I mean, well, because I said last night that G-Shocks aren't my thing. I know you guys all love those watches. I know that you. I'm not saying today I went out and I forgot to put a watch on, and it felt so weird. Did you ever do that? Did you ever leave the house without a watch on now? I'm like, I went through a period where I didn't wear a watch for, I don't know, 20 years, 15 years. Like, loved them, forgot about them, got into other things, bikes and other guitars and other shit. And then now it's just, when you go out without a watch, you're like, and you go to look at it and you're like, oh, should I go home? Should I turn around? You don't know what to do with yourself. It's so weird. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, hey, the viewers got me a friggin' Milgauss. I feel like I haven't done all my duty with that. So yeah, sure I would. I mean, they're cool. Everybody, you guys all love them. Maybe I need to investigate more. I don't know enough about them. I have a Casio piano, and it's great. I used to buy those really expensive MIDI controllers. Now I bought well, I've had them for years now, but I have just the standard weighted key Casio. I think it's called the CDP 180 or something like that. And it's just great. You just plug it in, and I've got all my Steinway sounds, and it's great, and it feels good. It doesn't feel like a Steinway, but Nathaniel Hannon. Fleming said Rolex, but not specifically sub. However, Fleming himself wore an Explorer one. That is true too. Did he not say sub? Oh shit. You know what? I'm gonna have to read Casino Royale tonight, and I'm sure that you're right, because no one needs to proofread you, sir. Sam Led Consulting asks if Aaron O'Malley is related to Oisin. Aaron O'Malley is Oisin's big brother. Yes, sir, it is. There's 3 boys in that family. There's Aaron, Oisin, and Emmett. Yes, that's his big bro, who's a fabulous drummer. They're a very musical family. That family is ridiculous players. They had like this kind of super proggy band. It's funny though. Like, I always wondered like why he wasn't the drummer, and I'm very good friends with the drummer in Mr. North, Adrian Mordaunt, Ado as we call him, or Ted, depending on the day. I always wondered why, Aaron, why were you not in Mr. North? Why did they go elsewhere? Why go elsewhere for a drummer when they had like a Neil Peart in the house? How did that happen? I don't get it. Valve says, but the women who cast him as Bond gave him that watch so it has sentimental value to him. Who? I don't know. It was Cubby Broccoli, and who? I don't know. Was there a female? I don't know this story, and I think I know everything about Bond. I mean, now it's Barbara Broccoli, and she's in charge of the whole thing. Her half brother Michael Wilson, he doesn't have anywhere near the say that she does in what goes on there. And I pray to God that the next Bond they don't go for like Timothy Chalamet or some frail little twink, because you know what, they need to. I was upset when they cast Daniel Craig because he's blonde and smooth, and Bond needs to be a man, a bruiser. He's got to have a great wrist presence. He's got to have hairy knuckles. He's got to look like a man. Like if he punched you, it's got to look like it would hurt. Daniel Craig, of course, I saw Casino Royale and I said, okay, I was so wrong about this guy. He's great. Franco Fiore, upvote for Dirk. Please upvote. I'm almost, listen, The more you upvote, the more stuff that happens with the channel, and we're on a roll. We're getting really. Wednesdays is kind of like the slowest day of the week, and I get that because it's hump day. People don't love it. However, and I get it, but that's what you know when you're in it every day. It's like I can only imagine what Timmy goes through. But I've been watching the numbers, and like Sheena and I went over it last night, and we were like, wow, it's really we had like 290,000 views in the last like couple of weeks. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all. Thank you, thank you. I know sometimes the camera's there. Um, Anybody notice that I'm using the picture is a lot clearer? I hope it is because I got the special stand where I could use that really fat lens on the iPhone. I don't use an SLR. I know I probably will eventually. And there will be more content too, but I was using the front camera so I could monitor it. And then I finally got this stand that's magnetic and it goes on the back of my computer. I love it. It's been great so far. Great, 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 great. Angelo says, just my opinion. We might have to reconsider the whole Trinity thing. Uh-oh. There are many brands that are at the quality horologic level of those and even higher, like Langa and Zona, right? Lange e Zone. Zone. Yeah, well, sure there are. Sure there are, but there's only one Elvis, there's only one Beatles, Are there better singers than Elvis and better bands than the Beatles? No. Though you might think so. Tomato. I want to know who Tomato is. Tom O'Mato. It's fucking brilliant. Dude, we got it though. It's great. It's the best. That's the best screen name I ever saw. Uh Omega brick bracelets are beautiful. Yeah, they are. I mean, when Omega does it, first of all, their extensions, their diver extensions, it says push on it. They're very, very, very cool. Topster McDonkey, AP is a Cook brand, but they don't belong in any Holy Trinity. Marvel embarrassment, ghetto trap rapper editions, movie watches disgraceful. I will agree that I wouldn't be barking up any of the rappers' trees because you know what? When I see like some glitzed out rapper with his iced out shit and then like a quality brand like the Tiffany Company with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and it was like true love. Meanwhile, didn't he fuck her sister? Didn't he? Wasn't there a whole Solange elevator freaking thing? And then she wrote Lemonade and all that crap, Wasn't that a revenge album? And they're like, true love, Tiffany and Company. You know what? I rather think of Audrey Hepburn and Cat, and George Papard. I don't want to think about those two ruining. And who thinks that that's a smart move? Meh. It's like a lot of these, like you don't want to see any of these ridiculous pop stars doing big brands like that. You want somebody classy and elegant, somebody you aspire to be. Isn't that what an endorsement is supposed to be? Like Eddie Van Halen, you aspire. Randy Rhoads, you aspire. You want to be or not being Yngwie Malmsteen, but you want to aspire to be Eric Clapton. I don't want to. Who's anybody aspire to be Jay-Z? If he's a crappy rapper anyway. I don't know. I don't like that shit. Sorry. Don't get me started on that crap. I don't like it. Maybe it should be called Wicked Wednesday. All right. Listen, I think early rap, because I grew up in Jamaica, Queens, so I saw it all. I used to see LL Cool J and all the Run DMC guys. They were down at the Jerk Chicken place on Hillside Avenue in 168th Place. I used to see them all the time, and they were freestyling. All these guys had boom boxes. That shit, I saw the genesis of that, and it was cool. You know what? Mama Said Knock You Out's one of my favorite records. I played that to death. I love that record. The first couple of the Beastie Boys, the first couple of Paul's Boutique is one of my favorite records of all time. I love early hip hop. I think that unfortunately with poetry and beats, eventually that blows its wad because it doesn't have, enough stuff to make it interesting. And I think that the stuff they do now is, did anybody see that We Are the World, the 20th anniversary edition? And Quincy Jones produced it, and it was like, we are the world, we are the children. It had auto-tune on it, and it had shitty singers on it. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Uh, you need to focus on eyes. I don't know what that means. That's so cryptic. uh, Sam Led Consulting, upvote for our Dirk. Hey, that's sweet of you. Thank you so much. Hit the Apex says, not your what the fuck collection. I don't know. I don't know. Bokeh. Oh, bokeh on the shit. Oh, I could do that. I could do that. I could bokeh this shit out. I actually, you know what it is? I'm just afraid of processing power because within the next like month or two, I have to upgrade to a new Mac Studio because not only for this, but for my music because my computer is been, and I know how to fix them. It's just been having bad days, you know? And Steve McDonald gets it correct. He says the Trinity have the history that placed them there. And I concur. I concur, East Stewart Hall. Holy Trinity has more to do with how long they've been in continuous production. I mean, if that's true, there's so many great watches. But listen, Patek Philippe, don't we all want a Calatrava? I mean, AP is not, I have no interest in owning an Audemars Piguet. They're not my thing. I don't like Gerald Genta. I don't like the screws. I think the offshore is too big. Sheen loves them, but he's got a big, meaty, longshoreman wrist on him. It looks great on him. I'm like, I'm like mini Butch. I'm not a big bruisery guy. It just wouldn't look good on me. They don't do it for me. I mean, you all know Omega does it for me hard. And Milgauss. But I wouldn't turn a sub down or a Explorer. I mean, when I see old watch ladies collection of old Explorers, I mean, I just hang my head in shame because those things are so beautiful. I love the old gilt dial Rolexes. I don't know. I think Vacheron's class too. I've never seen a Vacheron that I wanted though. I've never seen one. I think they're cool, but I've never seen one. Conair is here. What did you miss? I don't know. We talked about this. That's Wednesday, so we could talk whatever. What do you want to talk about? Yeah. So we got a super chat. Andrew Wokovich, Canadian, $2. Only takes a moment to support the show, guys. Hey, thanks. Andrew is my ultimate cheerleader. The guy's here first every time, and he's just, I can't thank you enough, man. He sends me hilarious stories. He's an inventive writer. Please write that fucking book because it'd be great and people would buy it. Canair says new speedy or buy vintage. Oh, well, listen, that's hard. Both. I mean, the technology in the new Speedmasters is outrageous. It's outrageous. But then there's, you could buy the Ed White, and that's got the, the 321 in it, and that's old technology, but that's Lamania based, and it's one of the greatest movements in history, and it's one of the most beautiful as well. But the 3861, I mean, you really gotta think about that. It's pretty beautiful. My prediction for Omega this year is, and this is wishful thinking, I think Omega needs to make the Speedmaster completely watertight. I think they need to. I think they're going to come out with an edition, and I don't know if it's going to have screw down pushers or what, but I think that the main thing that's been holding them back, and listen, you all know that I don't like Daytonas. I don't like them. I think that they're over-engineered. There's too much shit going on them. Would I turn one down? No, because I would flip it. Because I would want the money so I could go get what I really want. Because you can make a lot of money off them. Do I appreciate them for what they are? 1,000,000%, a million percent. However, I just think they're just like, they're not Speedmasters. But you could go swimming with them. Not that everybody needs to go swimming with them, but I'll be honest with you. I take my Speedmaster off when I'm washing the dishes. I'm just petrified that that something's going to happen. So that's my prediction this year for Omega. I think that's what they're going to do. Sam Led Consulting. What did you see? What documentary? You saw the We Are the World? It was fucking amazing. Everyone should watch the We Are the World documentary. It's incredible. There was stuff in there I didn't know about, and it was great. I think we talked about that ad nauseum last time. I am with you about the integrated bracelet thing. The Ingenieur was a non-star for me. Yeah, I would agree with that. 36 Explorer Dirk. I mean, it might feel a little small now because the smallest watch I have is a 39. Yeah, but I wouldn't turn down a 36 millimeter Explorer. I just think Explorers are perfect. I think they're absolutely perfect. Dave says, no desire for AP or PP. More expensive. Yeah, I know. Linen tiles. Oh man, waffle dials, linen dials. Yes, yes, yes. Like I told you guys, I've been scouring the intraweb, and I've been looking at all these amazing Omegas from the 50s and 60s that can be had for a couple $100. And maybe they need a little bit of work. You need to go get a great watchmaker and have them fixed, or maybe take them to Omega and spend the $600, or now I think it's 800 to have it serviced fully, and they'll clean it up and they'll replace the parts and all that stuff. But there's some shit on there. I wouldn't even do that. I think that they look beautiful, worn out like that they are. And some people have them and they're on eBay and they're beautiful. Linen dials, black dials, unbelievable. And then forget the looms are shot and all that stuff. But it doesn't matter. I love vintage all day. 130 watching. Hey, man, 135. Wow. Only 73 upvotes. Hey, Scotty H, thank you for pointing that out. Listen, you know what? A month and a half ago, we had 40 people in the room. Started out with 14 people, 40 people in the room. So I can't thank you enough. Live, this is pretty freaking unbelievable that 4 people just left after I mentioned it. Well, screw you too. Eddie loves vintage acrylic crystals. We need to get back to, yeah. I mean, Hesselite. I don't have it here. I could have just put it in the thing. It just looks so sexy. Hesselite is beautiful. No to screw down pushers. Sin make a 500 driver with that. Yeah, they could do it. Omega's, who's got better technology than Omega? Nobody does. Nobody. I mean, nobody. They got the Swatch group behind them. They could certainly do that. Not a problem. I just want to make sure miss anything before I get to wrist shots, because I'm going to go over again. But it's Wednesday. It's all test pilots in space. Yeah, I know, but do you know how many people don't buy Speedmasters? And I've spoken to a lot of it. Listen, when you're behind the bar, when you're behind the stick, and you talk to guys about what they want, like this one guy said, I really want a Speedmaster, but I think I'm going to get a 57 because it's not really what I want, because it's got the date at 6. And I was like, why not? He's like, well, because it's not waterproof. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's true. People are worried about stuff like that. I worry about that. I worry about this because, it's so glittery and beautiful. I still have the tape on the back, still have the tape on the clasp, because I'm just petrified that I don't ever want to get those scratches on. I'm going to never take the tape off. I have replaced it. It's like the 3rd piece of tape. It's not the original Rolex tape. I baby this because it's, extremely valuable and was a gracious gift, and I just want to baby it and take care of it. The Speedmaster I've had for several years now, and while I'm not rough and tumble with it, I instantly take it off when I go near a sink. So you got to just do that. Apollo 13 dealt with the condensation. Yeah, that's a problem too. You change climates. And my crystal on my Speedmaster does fog up. It does do it. It does. Steve McDonald says, Conair, agreed. I bought it 1861 instead of the new one just because of the bracelet. Oh, interesting. So you don't like the 3861 bracelet? I do. I'm a big fan. Boston Collector says, thanks. Thanks for what? Thank you. I'm a big fan of yours, man. Boston Collector. I think you're one of the most fascinating, most interesting people in the watch world. So I'm just kind of fangirling right now that you're even in my room. Thank you so very much. I was like, oh my God, did you see Boston Collector was in my room? Not that I don't love you all, but I was like, I've been floored by this guy in a couple of stuff, because he's a big collector and he knows a lot of stuff about watches. And knowledge is very sexy. When people know a lot of stuff, it's very fat. Knowledge to me is I love to just go. That's why I'm what is it? What is the word? What is the term? Jack of all trades, master of none. I know a lot about a lot of things, but not everything about one thing. I don't know. That's just how it works. Anyway, so let's start with this conundrum I have, and it shouldn't be that hard. So I'm going to start with look at this. This shouldn't be that bad. This is the way I'm going to do it from now on until I find the blur technique. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Al Benedetti with his G-Shock. I mean, they almost look like robots. Like it almost look ILM invented them. I mean, they're cool. I mean, I don't know if I'd wear white. It's very John Mayery though, because he wears G Shocks too. I just wish he would stop playing those PRS guitars and just stop being a little brat and go back to Fender, because Fender rolled out the red carpet for him and he walked away from them, which is ridiculous because PRS. Sorry, Kieran Kelly. I know. And you sent me a video that I want to show, but you sent it to my old email address. So I have to figure out how to import that. Very cool. He's a PRS player. That's great. Love that. So I'm going to stop that. See, that's how I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it this way. It might not exactly be the perfect way to do it, but it's a workaround. This way, nobody sees anybody's stuff. This is Pink Flamingos, not to be confused with the John Waters film of the same name. This is Nathaniel Hannon's Adventures Today. How cute is that? Beautiful. Okay. Then, oh, hey, Jeff Brown. Oh, look at this. Look at that. How cute are you? And I love this treatment you did on this photograph. It's very beautiful. What a baby doll. Trapdoor at tin type edited HD1 Moxie. That's your technical prowess, right? Something that you do. Beautiful. Thank you for that so much. Yeah, this will work out. I can do it this way because I don't want to download I don't really want to do it that way because it's like I'll have to spend an hour before each show. Oh, how great is this, man? I don't even know what it is, but I love Mickey Mouse watches. And this is him as what is his name? I know there's a real name for this. He's not the wizard. He's the it's beautiful. Who makes this watch? Is this a Rolex? I know Rolex did one, right? Everybody, well, the licensing is in the 50s and 60s. What was his name? I know he's got a real name. Come on, every smart person in the room. The Sorcerer's Apprentice, or is that what it was? Yeah, Sorcerer's Apprentice, I think it was, right? Thank you so much for that. That was a great one. I love those. Rufus. Oh, what do you got, Rufus? Is this a comedy? All right. Listen, I say I'll share whatever, as long as it's not dirty, harmful to children, and or why won't that scroll any bigger than that? Hold on a sec. Oops, shit, I just did it. I was afraid that was going to happen. All right, listen, there's going to be some growing pains. So I'm going to open this up. No, I can't for some reason. That's Cheeto balls. Oh, you're making fun of my thing. I don't know why that image would not blow up. Angelo with some sculptures. Did you do this, Angelo? This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh my God. Oh, Waltham. Wow, that's beautiful. Oh man, it looks like a pocket watch on your. Well, look at the. What is that Milgaussy kind of aqua color along the bezel there? Oh my God, that thing is beautiful. Look at the small seconds on that. Oh my God, this watch is beautiful. Waltham, they were a big company. They were a huge company. And it's amazing how like Kmart and like Sears and Roebuck in America, Sears was America. I was talking to Paul the other day and we were talking about, I was like, maybe we'll do it on Friday because I was watching that Tammy Lawrence skank box and she was talking about patriotism and I was like, what is patriotism? What is patriotism? I want to be like Matt cisgender female. What's his name? Matt Walsh. I'll do that on Friday because that's not really the tone of my shows. Yeah, the fonts are sexy. Hit the apex. Those are sexy. That is a beautiful watch. I'm gonna stick that on my desktop because that thing's beautiful. You're playing piano. Look at that. I love that blue strap. Oh, man, when I'm really the milky ring around the in between the bezel and the crystal is what's really turning me on. Absolutely beautiful piece there. And then Jacques draws. That's a very, very austere, beautiful piece. You have some very interesting taste, man. Gotta say, absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Look at it. Manufacturé en Suisse. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, so I just got to get used to the muscle memory of this, and that's okay. It's going to work out fine. And then, okay, here's some good ones. Ready for this? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you wanted me to share this. You sent it to me. Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Jim Lassick. And he's got a giant Rolex tattoo. Look at that. And some cool silver jewelry. He's a rocker. Look at this guy. This guy's killer. Look at the size of his forearm. Holy shit. Now that's a guy who could be James Bond. Because if he punched you in the face, got off his motorcycle, punched you in the face, you would probably get knocked out. And then this is how he keeps his bike. I said, how do you keep your bike so clean? I love this guy. You, my friend, are a fucking rock star. Is that not unbelievable? Unbelievable. Look at this. Here's some cuties from Jonathan. Oh, man. You know, it's watches and cats and your... Look at this. Look at these babies. Unbelievable. Look at that. Is that the cutest thing you ever saw in your entire life? Let me blow that up. Look at these kids. They're crazy. If you don't have cats, you don't know what you're missing. That's unbelievable. Let's see. Chris Boyd. Oh, yeah, we got some Omega action, Mr. Chris Boyd. Let's see. Oh, my God, look at that. Speedmaster GMT. This is one of Ashin's favorite watches. He doesn't have one, though, I don't think. This is with sword hands, red GMT hand, date. This is a completely perfect watch for anybody who's getting into the watch world. I would highly suggest that is a watch that you consider going for because it ticks all the boxes. You know, there's you could get into, plain old 300M if you want, or you could get into this. And this, it kind of reminds me, the bezel kind of reminds me of the Explorer 2, right? A little bit. What do you think? I think it does. I think it's really, really, really cool. I really love it. I love this watch. I've always loved this watch. Now, this one, does this have, I can't tell on the picture. Can we blow this up? Can we blow that up? Let me see. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah. See, look at this. So much action going on here. So much. I love it. This is the 2234.50. 22.3450. This is 22. I'm trying to do the math in my head with my serials. 22. Yeah, 2234. Yeah, .50. That's what that is. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. So, I can switch right here. Look at that. Oh, there's your doggy. Hey, baby. I love it. Love it. Love it. It's got the wavy dial. Isn't it beautiful? That's what a cutie. I like your carpet. It's very royal. It looks like something in a palace. How cute is that guy? What's this? Google Documents. What did you send me? I'm petrified to know. And here's a funny thing. Ready for this? Hey, from Felix. Are you ready to die? So, this is my sister's cat, and she's got a million cats in her house, and some of them just steal your heart. And when this guy was a tiny little kid, he was born, they lived under, his mama kept him under the dresser in my mom's room, and he is the most beautiful thing ever. I mean, you just want to scrunch him. He's the cutest thing. That's Felix. Look how cute this guy is. And he's a divil. He likes to climb. He's fresh. Look, he's on top of a refrigerator. He's a divil. I haven't seen him in the flesh in quite a while. And here's another picture of... See, this is what cats do. You walk in on them and they're just under a blanket or doing something really cute and clever. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. That's Felix. He's adorable. Oh, I love Felix. Who else we got? Brett Lane, I Basher Wednesday. Ooh, these are good. Glycine. Hold on. I don't know this watch, but he's in London town. It's a great looking watch. Got a real Tudory kind of bezel. The knurling on that. Great wrist presence. You got a big wrist there, man, because that looks kind of small on you. Is that a 36 millimeter, or is that how you do, or is that nice to see you? Great looking bracelet. Kind of Tudoresque. Kind of Tudor meets Rolex. Very Tudoresque. Look at the crown. Wow. I am very shocked by that. It's really very beautiful. Look at that. It's nice reflection going on. Huh. Amazing. That's a great looking watch, bro. But I gotta say, it is very tutory. Glycine, or yeah, glycine, right? Is that how you would say it? I'm imagining it is. I'm imagining that it is. And that was Mr. Lane, Mark Wild. Oh, where's the picture? Is there a picture I get even sharing a couple of photos of my favorite place? I don't see any pictures. Oh, can I? Oh no, I can't do that. Mark Wild, I love you to death, but these are I don't know, it says scanned by attachments. I have to download them. So I can't do that. I will download them and I'll have them for tomorrow's show. Uh okay, some Seiko action by Mr. Steve McDonald. Dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Look at that. Seiko peeking out. Did we watch? We saw this yesterday? I think we did. We might have. I might have gone on to yesterday's watch collection. Yeah, I did. This is Loch Ness. Okay. Let me go back up to the top, make sure I didn't miss anybody. Lately, oh man, I guessed that was John Mayer. I just saw the title of your email. Man, I'm good. Oh, that is a John Mayer edition. Isn't that funny? John Mayer's got endorsements for what else? What else does that guy need to have? Unbelievable. So let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Oh, hey, Daniel Gutierrez is here. Bashers, you're late. Just joining now. Had to work. How are you, fellas? How are you? How are you doing? Kojak says apprentice. Yeah, the sorcerer's apprentice. Yeah, we figured it out. Daniel's going to have to watch the replay. I'm sorry you missed it, but we'll be here tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And then Friday night with the big guy, as you know, hit the apex. Keep the upvotes going. Please keep the upvotes going. 1921 vibes. Yeah, that watch looked really beautiful. We were talking about that was the Waltham. That was beautiful. The fonts are sexy. It's thin. It's beautiful. It's nice. They hit the apex. Says, what the fuck? Yeah, is that watch? Can I just say, man, I have not been knocked out in a long time. Hit the apex as a coffee guy. So am I. Oh, I didn't even finish my coffee because I had one of Dana's chocolates, so I'm rolling around like a cocaine addict. I've never tried cocaine. And I know that if I did, I would have a problem because I just love stimulants. And that's the problem. But I had one of those Dana's crack chocolates, and man, it knocked me out. Mark Gerard says, "Hey Dirk, we love you. I love you right back, Mark Gerard. Wonderful kitty as well." You know what's funny? It's you notice that Laverne hasn't been coming on the stream lately. She's like sleeping in the living room right now. I don't know what's going on because there's a mouse in the house, and she's comes in here only when she knows that there's nothing going around. She's on alert because she wants to catch it, and I do not want her to catch it by any stretch of the imagination. Shane McGee, €2 49. First euros of the night. The cat next door, Durkee Kingsley. Did you send me a picture of that, Shane? Did I miss it? Did I miss it? You know, I hate missing pictures when you send them, especially if they're cats. Shane. You know, everybody has different names on here. So, you know, it would probably be a great idea if when you send me, that's a great idea. When you send me an email, but the first item in your email, tell me what your screen name is, because I don't want, if you want to only be known by your screen name and not by your actual name. I know, like there's a lot of stuff that goes on with doxing in this community, which is not something I ever want to be a part of. Any kind of the real wristwatches of YouTube. And I've claimed, you know, I've watched all the channels that have all the drama. I don't want to be caught up in any of that stuff because I am a enthusiast. I'm a musician, a singer, a friend, and I like to chalk a dog off a meat truck. I don't want to get involved in any of that. I'm going to pull off your weave, motherfucker. I'm not getting involved in any of that shit whatsoever. It's not going to happen. So, you know, he doxed her and she doxed him and he banged that slut and blah, blah, blah. I'm not banging any of the viewers. That's not happening. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm not getting caught up in that. Cocktails and in a nice dinner, sure, maybe, you know, pop by your villa or pop by my villa when I get it. You know, none of that shit at all. I don't want to be involved in that. So please, in the email description, put your screen name in there. Wouldn't that be great? I think it would be great. Loving your floor choice. Beautiful looted plus dark. That was the carpet that we were looking at, right? It was great. It was great. It was great. Really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Hit the apex. Eddie, $5. Dirk, put together your all-time Arsenal lineup for a band. They all have to be from different bands. Do I have to do that now? Okay. Okay. My living or dead doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. Put together your all-star lineup band. Okay. Cozy Powell on drums. Ronnie James Dio on the vocals. They played together, but they also didn't. Michael Schenker on lead guitar. John Lord on keyboards. Who am I missing? Bass, drums. Did I do bass? I didn't do bass. Oh God, this is so hard because I love so many bass players. So Michael Schenker on guitar, Cozy Powell on drums, Ronnie James Dio on the vocals, John Lord on the keyboards, and on bass, I'm gonna go. Who do I want on bass? Ooh, tough. I'm so torn. I'm gonna go Chris Squire. That's what I'm saying off the top of my head. If I was a guy going, hey, give me a call Dio, Cozy Powell, call Chris Squire, blah blah blah. You know, how many of those guys are dead? All of them, but Michael Schenker. Isn't that fucked up? Terrible. Ding dong, ding dong. Thank you, Daniel Gutierrez, because you got in there just in time. Interesting, Mr. Bond. What do you expect? I expect you to die. What am I going to watch tonight? I saw The Holdovers. I've seen most of the Oscar movies now. I haven't seen. I don't want to see that movie. Poor Things, because I heard there's more dirty shit in it. And you know what? I could put on porno if I want. I don't need to see any more of that. And I'm sick of her. She's the same in everything. I'm not a fan. John Paul Jones. Yeah, I mean, listen, I loved Eddie. I love John Paul Jones. So listen, here is the new email address. It is Basher Dirk at when I do stuff, Sheen told me to sing at gmail.com, right? That is the way to get to me to send the photographs. If you want to go to there, please do that, and it would be great. Yeah, listen, I mean, it'll change every single day about who I want, like Alex Lifeson, sure. John Bonham, sure. Ian Pace. Honestly, I think Ian Pace is the most underrated drummer in the history of drums. If I had to pick people who are alive today, it would be Todd Zuckerman, because he's the greatest living drummer alive right now. There's no one better than Todd Zuckerman. Go check him out. He's in Styx. This guy's a monster. He plays traditional grip. He's insane. Michael Schenker or Alex Lifeson. On bass, I would pick Eddie Lee, because that's just how it goes. And on keyboards, I would pick Don Airey. Right? Did I miss anybody? Bass? Did I get bass? I did. Eddie Lee, bass. If I had to pick people who were alive, and it would be Don Airey, because he's Rick Wakeman. Rick Wakeman. Right? I rewound fast enough. YT says, well, I'm like, because he doesn't play well with others. He won't even have a lead singer now. He sings his own songs. There is this dumb keyboard player who looks like he's in the Muppets singing for him. Guys, I told you my Yngwie Malmsteen story, right? That when my band was getting signed to Polygram, which eventually didn't happen, it was a year and a change where we were in limbo. This guy, Jim Lewis, who was like a big fat cat cigar guy, go, you know what? Your band doesn't. You do it for me, but your band doesn't. I'm going to pull you out of there. I'm going to put you with Yngwie Malmsteen. He couldn't even say Yngwie. He said, with Yngwie Malmsteen. He's from Sweden. And I was like, I'm well aware of who he is. He had about this was after Joe Lynn Turner did Odyssey. And this is a quick story. Anyway, I went up to Worldwide Plaza. I went up to his office, and Yngwie was there. Do I have a guitar handy? I don't have one handy. Yngwie was there, and he was going, no amp, just sitting up the thing. just doing like arpeggios and harmonic minor runs. And he was chewing gum, and they were telling me, well, the next record's going to be heavier than Odyssey. Odyssey was a commercial breakthrough because Joe Turner knows how to write hit songs. Okay, and we went to the same voice teacher, Marty Lawrence, and big Joe fan. Joe is great. Joe also thinks Joe is great. That's another thing. So we were talking about it, and it was like $250 a week. And I said to him, I currently make more money slicing bologna. I left. And that was the end of it. And that's all I did. There was like a 20-minute meeting where he just was chewing gum, not paying attention at all. I don't know. Eddie, no vintage Mick on vocals. I think Jagger is a must. I have to admit to not being a Rolling Stones fan at all. I like several of their songs. I have the ultimate respect for them. The Rolling Stones are not a band I would put on for pleasure. I mean, you look at what I listen to, progressive rock, operatic singers, rock and roll guys, like Steven Tyler does nothing for me. I respect it. I like it. I get why people love it. That shit does nothing for me. I gave up on the rock and roll after Kiss, which was my rock and roll band. My after that, I went to prog. I went, metal prog, Iron Maiden, Queensryche. I was always a Rush fan. I like more musical, more progressive stuff. I love orchestral music. I love people who do that. I just never did it for me. I totally get it. Know why you love them, but for me, not a fan. I'm not a fan of the bluesy rock and roll guys at all. Eddie goes $5. Can you imagine Mick, Keith, and Lennon and McCartney? But it's funny that they hated each other. I mean, they really did, because their egos were rampant. Not so much Paul, because Paul knows how great he is. Lennon had a really bad ego problem, and Keith doesn't give a shit either. I think it would have been really ugly between Mick and John. I think that would have been fucked up, because I think that those guys wouldn't have got along. I think Paul would have been like, sure, let's start an F sharp minor, right? Let's go. And come up with some. He's just the arrangement master. And Keith would be, we get right in there, and John would be like, I don't want to play on this. It's shite. Lennon is not my favorite Beatle. He's my last favorite Beatle. As great as he was, he's too difficult, and I don't like difficult people. Like Yngwie, not a fan. Not a fan. You never brought on the Nightwish train. I don't know. Is that a progressive metal band? I don't know. I don't like Dream Theater either, and I know them, or I knew them. We rehearsed right near them, and many, many moons ago. Like, we were from the same town, and I knew them. As just, their manager gave me the opportunity to audition for them before they got their current singer, who does not like me, because we were supposed to go on tour with them, and it was a go, and we were getting packing and ready to go. And the next thing you know, we found out we weren't going. And then our tour manager, who has also worked with them, said, James doesn't like you. He doesn't want you on the tour. And I said, why? This is because John Petrudas, the guitar player, wanted you originally in the band. And I was like, well, that's stupid. He's in the band. And I never wanted to be in that band, because it's all, they're great, amazing players, incredible. That guy, Jordan Brutus, the keyboard player, he's fucking, maybe that guy, he's crazy. They're amazing, but to me, it's just like, there's no, like, it's Dream Theater is like a band plus like a guest singer. He shows up every once in a while. It's like a part-time singing thing. It's not it's a part-time gig. And it's like, and they don't let him write. It's a very, very controlled thing. But Mike Portnoy is one of the nicest guys. And well, so is John Petrucci is one of the sweetest guys in the whole wide world. But that's not my cup of tea. I don't know why I never liked that band. I just don't find it, because it gets too abstract. I like progressive music when it's not that abstract. Anyway, I am so far over. I went a half an hour over. Because of you, because I love you guys. There's only 89 people, so a lot of you jump ship. But thank you so much. We're almost close to 2,000. Keep it on coming. Do like and subscribe if you can. Hold the door open. Say please and thank you. And, don't be a dick. Just don't be a dick unless they're a total.